Hey guys, so today's video is going to be how I gained 40 pounds in this off season, and arguably it has been a tidy 40 pounds. I didn't allow myself to get out of shape this year, which will make my prep much easier. I always say this: your prep is a reflection of your off season. So depending on how well your off season goes, that will dictate as to how good your prep will be. So in my opinion, the main thing that you need to focus on is gaining the most amount of tissue and weight with the least amount of body fat. The second you start seeing, too much fat gain, unfortunately, you will likely gain more fat than muscle. So, people like to do a dirty bulk. I often get people send me pictures of Lee Priest back in the day, when he used to do his KFC off seasons. That's Lee Priest. He is, top of the food chain, genetic elite. Fortunately, we are not. I might have decent genetics. Yes, they're not terrible, but in the same breath, they're not the 1% elite. The 1% elite guys, that's not people you want to look up to. You want to look up to people like John Jewett, Hunter Labrada, people that don't have, the most amazing genetics, but still have made it. Even James Hollinshead, look at James's career. Look how long James has been at it. James has been competing since 17 years old. He's now 33 years old and, is competing at the Olympia. So, that's 15, 16 years of doing the bodybuilding game for 16 years. Not months, 16 years to get to where he is. So, when we look at genetic elite and people say, like, why did you do push-pull legs? Why did you do all this peri-workout nutrition when Dexter Jackson doesn't do it? Dexter Jackson used to diet on Kentucky Fried Chicken, and that is legit. So I cannot compare myself to him. You have to work to your own capabilities. So a little bit of an overview from my off-season this year. The split has remained the same throughout, which has been push-pull, off, legs off, repeat. I think that is, for me, that is the most effective split when it comes to trying to grow everything. The biggest change and turnaround point for me with my back development has been, learning how to train it. So I didn't even have to put more emphasis on it, more frequency, change my training split to bring it back up. The only thing I had to do really is learn how to train it, and that in itself actually increased the volume of my training with my back, because what I can do in one set equates now to what I could previously do in 3 sets. So if my training volume is the same, or precision is the same, training volume is not just the number of sets you do. Training volume is also the tempo. Training volume is also your technique. All these little variables can actually increase the volume. So when people say volume training, it's not just the amount of number of sets. It comes to the number of reps, load, form, tempo, and all these little things can manipulate volume a lot. So my volume has increased indirectly through better form, better tempo, higher loads. All these little things have contributed to my back absolutely exploding. So let's break down the off season and what I did. Post-show, straight into recovery phase. Many people are under assumptions that they will instantly grow a ton of muscle post-show. That is not the case. Your body needs time to recover and get healthy. So post-show, if you want to blast, your cycle, that's up to you. That is not my preferred method of doing things. My preferred method of doing things is actually going to recovery phase. So bringing all the anabolics out completely, remaining with a base of testosterone, and that could be, at an individual level as to what you need and what's going to put you at a slight, just above the physiological range. So I'm not going to get into detail as to what I do, because that is not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to educate people and mostly put people off from, these type of practices. As I always say this to people, it's not really worth doing what we do unless you are going to make a career from it. And I will always stand by that. It's not worth messing with your health unless you have a chance to truly make a career from it. And fortunately, touch wood, I've been able to do it. So the main thing that I did is we focused on really, pushing the calories. So for the 10 weeks, from the show day, for about 10 weeks, consistently, we pushed the calories, and it was always clean calories. Even my off-season this year, even my off-plan meals this year haven't been as, you know, as wild as I have done in the past. You know, mostly it's just been sushi meals, which I honestly enjoy, and digestion standpoint, it's the best food for me, to be totally honest with you. Some of it's been homemade cooked meals at my mum's or Meg's mum's, but mostly, you know, it's been sushi, etc. So, you know, even my cheat meals have been somewhat cleaner this year, so I haven't saturated my body with, you know, poor processed food. It's always been clean food, and you know, that is what worked for me. I'm not saying that's going to work for you guys. I'm not saying that's going to be sustainable for you guys either, because you know, what's sustainable for me is a lot different to you guys. You know, I make a living from this now, and you know, it's something that I will pursue as a career, so I have to make sure that my actions reflect my goals when it comes to what my goals are. And my goals, you know, are further ahead to what most people that are watching this will be. So, you know, you have to work to your own individual capability. So I can share this with you guys, take what you wish from it and apply that yourself. So for the first 10 weeks I've pushed my food extremely high, and to be honest, this whole year I haven't done one mini cut because I didn't need to, and that's simply been down to, you know, keeping my food a lot cleaner than ever. I haven't added anything processed to my food. It's mainly, the food sources have been very simple the whole year. It hasn't changed. So the staple of protein has literally been steak, eggs, wild salmon, and that's, yes, wild salmon. It's a lot more, its nutritional value is just provides you so much more, especially when it comes to omega-3 fats. You know, it's got a lot less fat than farmed salmon, but it actually has omega-3 fat in it. Farmed salmon actually doesn't, so that's the reason why I opt for wild salmon. Another thing, it's been, you know, a little bit of turkey, but I've not really been a fan, so it's been mainly eggs, steak, salmon, prawns, and I did a stint with yogurt, but I didn't really like it, and obviously whey isolate as well. These have been staples in my diet all the way throughout off-season with no changes. I've just recently cut my prawns out because I've gone off them, so I've been having turkey, but it's been very consistent and solid throughout that. In terms of carbohydrate sources, very simple: cream of rice, rice-based gluten-free cereal, bagels in very, very, very small moderations, just on rest days, as bread does kind of upset my stomach, even bagels. So I've been having just literally one meal with that as a treat. So it's been very simple, you know, very, very, very old school in a way. And I honestly believe that the fuel you put in your body and the food sources truly matter. You know, people believe that meal timing isn't that relevant. I honestly disagree. I think meal timing is key when it comes to optimizing your nutrition and optimizing your actual off season when it comes to hypertrophy. And you know, I've done this with many clients that came from coaches that just set them out macros and with no real meal timing and structure, and totally transformed them just through setting a solid routine with the food, solid meal timing, and focusing on peri-workout nutrition as well. So, you know, I think the main thing that we all need to accept and focus on is absolutely making sure that, you know, we do things to the way that we will be able to adhere to. That is the main thing. Secondly, you have to look at what's more efficient. For me, it's been perfect meal timing, perfect meal structure, making sure my digestion is great. You know, you can only eat what you can digest. So for me, picking the food sources that are not going to upset my digestion has been key. And that has been the same with my actual options for eating off plan. And to be totally transparent with you guys, ever since I've actually stopped eating processed food and actually haven't had it, I don't crave it. I crave more wholesome foods. So the foods that I would crave now in terms of like off-plan eating is literally sushi or that homemade food. In terms of pizza, I don't really crave pizza. You know, I've had it sometimes and made for the sake of it, literally. But it's more, I'm in a belief that, you know, certain foods are made for you to crave them. So when you taste them, you automatically want them. And I honestly believe that, because since I've cut these little foods out this off-season, the difference has been dramatic. And it's no coincidence that this year my super supplementation has been probably the lowest it's been in the past 2-3 years, and I've made the most progress I ever have. The food has been the cleanest it has been in years, and my food sources have remained consistent, wholesome, nothing processed, and my meal timing, more importantly, my routine and meal timing with my food has been, you know, immaculate. So to put things into perspective, we built up my calories up to 6,500 calories from clean foods. at the peak of my off-season eating. Right now, I'm in prep, 16 weeks out, and my food is sitting at 5,500 calories on training day and 4.9 thousand on rest days, and I'm dropping weight on that. So, I think one lesson to take away as well, guys, is food sources matter, meal timing matters, digestion has to be optimized year round, and allowing yourself to build your calories up from clean food sources really pays off in dividend. I honestly believe that people that top up the calories with processed food, you don't digest it. I honestly believe that, because you get some guys that are claiming to eat 7,000 calories that weigh 30-40 pounds less than me, and they're not growing. Why? Because they're going to toilet 5-6 times a day. At peak of your off-season eating, if you go toilet more than 3 times a day, there is a digestive issue, and I would believe that you're not absorbing all your food. So in hindsight, you probably benefit from lowering your food and actually allowing your absorption of food to be better, and probably take away much more from that. So I definitely think that all these little variables have played a huge role in me actually being able to progress. Another thing that's paid off so much as well has been managing my training volume and making sure that I drop my ego, reset all my lifts, and actually train to full range of motion across all bases. I haven't had no niggles, no issues, touch wood, with any of my joints, simply down to executing my movements properly. And I can't stress the importance of that. If you have shoulder issues, if you have elbow issues, if you have knee issues, if you have back issues, any issues with your joints for that matter, you are simply going too heavy, and your connective tissue is taking the load in rather than the muscle. If your connective tissue is taking the load in rather than the muscle, what are you going to stimulate? What are you trying to achieve? Are you just trying to lift the load, or are you trying to stimulate the muscle to grow? If you're trying to stimulate the muscle to grow, the tension needs to remain on the muscle, not on the connective tissue. This is the biggest one single error that I see people make. They try and move the loads that they simply cannot handle. They simply cannot move with precision. They sacrifice range of motion for loading, and in hindsight, that will actually stimulate less muscle growth, and it will actually create less opportunity to grow than actually dropping the load, going through full range of motion, and making sure that the tension remains on the muscle rather than remaining on your connective tissue around it. So these are the biggest things that we absolutely need to focus on when it comes to training for hypertrophy. It's an absolute key for me when it comes to trying to progress, and this is the reason why after almost 10 years of competing, well actually 10 years of competing, this year I've been able to make the most progress I ever have, because I've stripped everything back from a training perspective. Obviously I have Stefan in my corner making sure that I don't overdo things. Stefan in my corner leading the way when it comes to recovery. He has taught me so many lessons when it comes to actually giving your body a break and giving your body the rest that it needs. I've never rested in any off seasons as much as I have this one, simply down to Stefan keeping his foot down with that. And you know what? If I prepped myself, I would have probably pushed forward, and I probably wouldn't have rested quite as much. So I think it's been a blessing having him in my corner. It's someone that I respect a lot, and he is very old school. He has great methods, and I think combination of that with what I can bring to the table brings the best out of me. So I'm definitely very, very grateful for that, if I'm totally honest with you guys. But if you want to transform your physique, if you want to gain the muscle tissue, and if you want to progress, you can do it any way you wish. I'm not sitting here to dictate anything on you. I'm not sitting here saying my method is the best method, that you should do anything. It should always be your choice. I'm here to share with you guys how I've made most progress I ever have in my life, and that's simply been down to breaking everything down and just being better with my daily execution of my actual simple tasks, such as my sleep, my digestion, my eating, how I eat, when I drink my food, when I drink my meal, when I drink my water, when I eat my meals, how I eat my meals. It's all played a massive part, and most importantly, the training side of things, that has literally been broken down into pieces, reset all my lifts and start from scratch with my training, and that has paid off in dividend, and actually being able to learn how to apply myself with the intensity and intent. People talk about this all the time, but I don't think they truly know what it means. Applying yourself with intent means that you are truly in control of what you are doing and you truly know what you are doing and how you are doing it. You know, simply lifting is not enough at my level anyway. You know, you have to know exactly what's going on at a given time. You have to know exactly why you have programmed in certain movements, and you have to know exactly why you are doing certain exercise at a given time. So the exercise sequence definitely means a lot as well. So you have to know exactly, you know, which range to load your muscle with at a given time. You know, your exercise selection is truly important as well. So, you know, there's so much more that goes into it, but in the same breath, don't let this overwhelm you. You know, when you break everything down, it's really simple. It's just knowing how to apply it. And I think the biggest game changer for me this year is, you know, knowing how to apply things and how to actually commit myself with intent on a daily basis, covering every box. You know, and truly ticking every box doesn't mean, you know, just being present in the gym. It means being present in and out of the gym, covering every variable, you know, sleep, meal timing, you know, even quality of nutrition. It all truly matters, guys. So if you want to gain 40 pounds, try it out. You let me know how you get on. I can guarantee you now, guys, that I have gained 10 to 15 pounds of stage weight this year, just through changing all these variables and making sure I'm more committed than ever. So, you know, there is no right or wrong way, but, you know, there's certain ways that will yield the results that you need. But most importantly, you have to put in what you want to get out. You know, you have to apply yourself. It's not going to come with no effort. Right, guys, so we are going into our training session now. So we will cover pull training. I'm not going into too much detail, as I like to get in the zone now, but I will cover a little bit as to what we are doing and how. There is previous videos on YouTube actually me covering pull training in detail if you want to check these out, but this session you will actually get to see a session where I'm not lower back loading. This is my first session coming back off being ill, so there's no lower back loading. It's just mainly focus on my upper back, following on with lat work towards the end of the workout. So I hope you enjoy, guys, and stay tuned.
Drive it in. Again, come on. Drive it in, yes. One more. Yeah. Game on, lads. How to get massive one-on-one. Get your missus to put your plates on for you. The car start a bit, come on. There. Hands back, come on. Let's go. episode. How did I gain 40 pounds in my off season? So pretty straightforward, obviously plenty of food, but I'll touch a bit more on that after. But anyway, first 3 movements, upper back movements, as you can see, full retraction. The best cues I always give for people, for clients in general, is do not restrict your scapular movement. Imagine your back is a double door, you know the big double doors you walk through sometimes. Imagine you're trying to fully open it and fully close it. That is what you've got to imagine you're trying to do with your back. So, you imagine your forearms, your arms are just anchors. All you're thinking about, feeling, is driving through your elbows, driving your elbows through your lat, aiming to get full retraction. Once your arm travels past your ribcage, there. Do not try to retract before your upper arm travels past your ribcage. Try to keep over that movement. This movement on the other hand, is a lot different. It's not any retraction whatsoever. So that movement, so the arm path is a lot different. It calls to try and drive the upper arm down into the bottom of the hip, whilst maintaining a neutral spine, keeping a ribcage down and core so tight. Write that down, motherfuckers. So, as you can see now, it's just the lat. This is what I'm trying to target here. To target the lat, you're not going to see any of this. It's actually the opposite. So, traditional lat pull downs actually work your upper back, not your lat. So, if you want to target your lat properly, keep following on, keep watching the videos. Come on. Go. Come on. Beautiful. Come on. a wrap up. We're not done yet though, we're not done yet. Still got some talking to do, so I will catch you back at mine.